Toronto proud to announce from Zurich, Men's League Switzerland, from U.S. program, Austin Matthews.
This moment was huge. The Maple Leafs were a franchise that were stuck in what seemed to be hopeless mediocrity, and now it seems they finally found their next franchise-changing star to build around for the future. Coming out of the US National Under-18 team, Austin Matthews was the most hyped-up player for a reason. During his draft year, he would post incredible numbers that would include 24 goals and 22 assists in 36 games with Zurich SC of the Swiss A-League. Both Matthews and his new fan base in Toronto hoped he could translate that success at the NHL level. Because of the build-up around Matthews and he being the consensus #1 pick, all eyes were on the young forward to see how he would perform in his NHL debut. And let's just say, Matthews delivered.
Holland trying to get untangled, puck rolls around, Matthews scores! This is Matthews, gains control. Trying to find some room. All great work. He gets free. Shoots, scores! What a goal! Matthews, magnificent! Puck out in front. Matthews scores! A hat trick! Oh my goodness! What a debut! Nylander moving in. Works it across in front. He scores! Matthews!
This performance completely shocked the hockey world. Many believe the Leafs struck gold and may have found one of the next faces of the entire NHL. However, despite Matthews scoring every single goal for the Leafs that night, his team would still lose the game 5-4, which was mind-boggling in itself. Regardless of the loss, Matthews showed that he was legit, and he continued to do so for the remainder of his rookie season, scoring 40 goals, setting Maple Leaf rookie records, and taking home the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year, finishing his season with a very nice 69 points in a full 82 game season. There may never be another debut quite like Matthews, but there have been players who may have topped him in point totals, that is, as there was another player who absolutely shocked everyone before becoming nothing more than a depth forward. But before we begin, I gotta give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Manscaped. Manscaped is back with the all-new Lawnmower 4.0. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Unlike the previous 3.0, the 4.0 has a multifunctional on-off switch that can engage a travel lock, as well as giving you the ability to turn on or off the 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. The wireless charging system is also a nice addition, as it can help increase battery life. Manscaped also has the Weed Whacker nose and ear trimmer, which can help trim the hard to reach areas most other trimmers can't get to. And finally, a nice little addition to include features a bottle of fresh smelling cologne that can now help you smell as fresh as you'll be looking. Father's Day is right around the corner, and if you're looking for a gift to give, then Manscaped's got you covered. Go to manscaped.com and use my promo code IDGT at checkout to get 20% off and free international shipping. Once again, thanks to Manscaped for the sponsor. Now let's get back to the video. Not only did lifelong flyer Al Hill manage to go undrafted during his draft year, but he also managed to do the incredible. Hill would be called up from the minors in the 76-77 season to play against the St. Louis Blues on February 14th, thus making his NHL debut. And he didn't have a lot of expectations headed in, but what he managed to do in his first game shocked everyone, including his very own teammates. Hill would record 2 goals and 3 assists, tallying a whopping 5 points, almost single-handedly helping the Flyers win the game 6-4. What else was impressive was that Hill would not only produce on the score sheet, but he would showcase his physicality as well, fighting Blues Billy McMillan, helping him record a Gordie Howe hat trick to top the night off. Also, a fun fact to take note of is that Hill is only one of 3 players in NHL history to score a Gordie Howe hat trick in their NHL debut. The other 2, Mark Messier and Wayne Gretzky. Sadly, Hill had his time to shine, and the spotlight completely dwindled, as Hill would only produce 1 more point in his next 8 games, and would finish his short NHL career playing 221 games, racking up 90 points. But for one night, Hill made himself look like a star, and forever etched himself in hockey history. Another record setter in today's video is Troy Grossnick, whose debut in 2014 helped put his name on the map. Before his San Jose Shark debut, Grossnick was nothing more than an average performer in the minors. In fact, that season with the AHL Sharks, Grossnick would post a respectable .906 save percentage and a .263 goals against average, but no one really knew what to expect headed in. Grossnick knew, however, that this could be his only real shot at making a lasting impression, and he did just that. Grossnick helped his team get the win in shutout fashion. The win made Grossnick the 24th goaltender to record a shutout in their NHL debut, but what made him stand out amongst all the rest was that night, Troy had to stop 45 shots, helping him stop the most shots by a goalie in a debut shutout in the modern era of the NHL. That's just crazy. Sadly, Grossnick would only play in one more game, finishing his year with an impressive .948 save percentage and a 1 goals against average. To make his story even worse, he didn't even get another shot at the NHL until this season with the LA Kings, where he would once again play in just 2 games. This time, his stats were a lot more average, racking up a .922 save percentage, but a 3 goals against average. Grossnick never really got a true chance to prove himself as an elite NHL backup at best, but whenever he's had his chance, he's made sure to make the most of it. Regardless whether or not we see him on NHL ice again, Grossnick showed the world just how good he can really be when the pressure is on. 2 players in today's video have started off their NHL careers on fire, both scoring hat tricks in their NHL debuts. The first is a more well-known name, and that's Derek Stephan. 10 months earlier, Stephan and Team USA would take home the gold in the World Junior Championship, and thanks to his play during the tournament, Stephan was given a chance at the NHL level, and he made sure to make the most of it. In college with the University of Wisconsin, Stephan posted 54 points in 41 games, just 12 of which being goals. But on October 9th of the 2010-11 season, Stephan had no problem finding the back of the net, scoring a hat trick and a 6-3 win, making history along the way. Stephan would become the 4th player to score a hat trick in their NHL debut and would secure a spot on the Rangers roster for the remainder of the season, actually becoming 4th on the team in points, producing 45 in a full 82 games. Stephan would become a solid contributor throughout his NHL career and is still in the league as of today, unlike this next player who you might not even have heard of. Meet Fabian Brunstrom, who actually made his debut a year before Stephan. Brunstrom was an undrafted free agent, and after having a decent season in the SHL, multiple NHL teams would compete against one another to try and get Fabian to sign to their team, making Brunstrom the prize of what one outlet called the Swedish sweepstakes. Obviously, as you just saw, Brunstrom signed in Dallas, and after his NHL debut, many believed he was destined for success, but then out of nowhere, he sorta disappeared, but there may be a reason as to why. After Fabian's rookie season, the Stars cleaned house, firing GMs Brett Hull and Les Jackson, replacing them with Joe Nieuwendyk, and firing coach Dave Tippett, replacing him with Mark Crawford. And this coaching change also changed Brunstrom's career. Crawford began to decrease Brunstrom's ice and power play time, making Fabian only score 2 goals the following season and being sent down to the minors. He would play very little NHL games afterwards, eventually leaving the NHL for the SHL in the 2012-13 season. Fabian would even admit why his play dropped, stating in an interview, quote, "I remember I completely lost confidence there, didn't play good, and couldn't find my game. I'm only blaming myself, but it wasn't a good fit for me." It's sad how Brunstrom's career panned out, as he looked like a solid player, but he never truly got his chance after a fantastic first impression. We're gonna end this video with perhaps the weirdest debut in NHL history, a debut that was fueled by hatred due to an intense rivalry between 2 teams. Kellen Lane would make history for having the shortest debut in NHL history, one that would last all of 2 seconds, but it wasn't really even his fault. The Saturday before the Flames and Canucks were set to face off, Flames coach Bob Hartley would submit a lineup that opened up with Calgary's 4th line of grinders, taking the opening draw. Canucks coach John Tortorella wasn't too fond of that decision, so in response would send out his 4th line as well, one that included a rookie Kellen Lane. When the puck was dropped to begin play, Flames Kevin Westgarth would square off against Lane, causing chaos to ensue. Eventually, Luckily, both Westgarth and Lane received game misconducts and were thrown out of the game, making Lane's debut last all of 2 seconds. This game isn't as well known due to the fight, however. In fact, it's more known because of what happened after that first period, as Tortorella, in pure frustration, would barge into the hallway in an attempt to enter the Flames' dressing room. Tortorella would be banned for 15 games, and Hartley would receive a $25,000 fine. Luckily, Lane, a few games later, would score his first and only goal of his short career, as he would unfortunately be nothing more than a fringe NHL player. This video helps show one thing: making the NHL isn't easy, and one game isn't gonna make you an instant pro, but first impressions do help, as all it takes is just one chance to showcase to the entire world you are legit and can play on the brightest stage.